Welcome to episode 12. Today, we finish off overall fantasy rankings, but more specifically, the running back rankings.
The
Last
one
week
that
we did
everybody wants to know.
exactly. Last week we did 30 to 16. Today we finish it off 15 to 1. And I think we should just dive straight in.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
My brother, how you doing today?
Bro, I'm excited for this. We're finally about to finish with the overall rankings. We're about to be done with the ones that everybody wants to know, the one that could potentially take you to the playoffs, win you a championship. I'm excited, man. And what about you?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. This is probably arguably the most important position in fantasy football just because it provides so many
And the
points.
riskiest.
It's the riskiest. I was about to get to that. Like, it's the one that provides the most points, but it's also the one that more injuries happen more than any other position. And the biggest thing about it is when an injury does happen, it's usually you're losing a star. And yeah, you could get the backup, but like it's not gonna be the same. Meanwhile, wide receiver, it's so deep. And we talked about that before when we did those rankings. We did a top 30, but we could have easily done like a top 50.
Easy.
So yeah, it's definitely an interesting one. It's an important one. And
Yes.
I think this top 15 should be important. I think everybody, since like I said, most people play 10 or 12 man league, you should be able to get at least one of these guys. If you manage to get two, good for you. Good for you.
Yeah.
But yeah, last week you wore a Saquon Barkley jersey. This
Oh,
week
yeah.
I am wearing it. So my jersey itself, I got the new one that the Giants just announced, the throwback ones.
You ordered it?
Yeah, and it hasn't come in yet.
Nice.
So that's why last week I said I only have one jersey running back wise, but it hasn't come in yet.
I
So
think those are like you have to pre-order them, right?
yeah. So
I think I'm gonna get mine too.
I thought
I
I'd
have to. There's no way.
I thought I'd be able to get it before the season started, but boy was I wrong. So I had to go with the next best thing, which is a Saquon Barkley shirt. So
That's perfectly fine.
it's the thought that counts. It's the thought that counts.
That's right. Yes, that's
Um,
right. That's right.
And now this week, what do you have on?
So I have the number one overall running back from last season. Okay, which I saw him last season. The way he was playing last season, I was like, this guy is my new favorite running back. I respected him since before last season, but last season was like, this is the man right here.
He showed it.
Of course, JT, Jonathan Taylor, the man himself. So I was actually debating, last week I had the Saquon military one. That one's like right now my favorite football jersey.
Yeah.
But right now, this is my favorite running back. You know what I mean? So I was in a little predicament. I was like, man, should I put on the Jonathan Taylor jersey or should I put on the Saquon jersey? But I ended up going with the Saquon jersey last week because I was like, you know what? It'd probably be better if I wear his since he is gonna be in my rankings for that episode. He was in my rankings between the 30 and the 16. And I was like, you know what? I'll have to wear Jonathan Taylor this week because he is obviously, spoiler alert, he's gonna be in my rankings this week.
Obviously.
So
at least I would hope so.
Perfect. Oh, well, yeah. Oh no, he's not ranked. He's not ranked.
And another thing, a little bonus thing that we could throw in there as to why that jersey is a little bit more special as well. In the league that one of the teams that we co-manage, he's one of our three keepers. So hey, you know what?
I'm sorry. Who's the other two keepers? Just so people can kind of see who we got and kind of get a little jelly.
So it's a 16-man league, just to remind you all, and we have to pick 3 players to keep for this coming season now, and we were able to keep last year's number 1 running back, Jonathan Taylor, last year's number 1 wide receiver, Cooper Kupp. And the man that we think, if not this year, definitely next year, will be the number 1 wide receiver, Justin Jefferson. Yeah. I think we're off to a great start. If I do say so myself, I think we're off to a pretty good start.
I think you forgot to mention, even though they were, the number 1 wide receiver and number 1 running back, they were the top 2 overall players in all of fantasy.
You're right.
Which is insane.
Cooper and JT were absolutely insane. Yeah.
So and you got JJ who could potentially be up there as well.
He's right there. I think he ended like as wide receiver 4 last year, which is still amazing. And I think this year, if he's not number 1, he'll be number 2. I think we're off to a good. We're in a good spot. We are in a good spot. But we'll see how that goes. Hey, we got the draft next week. Maybe we'll do an episode talking about the teams we drafted, but we'll see how that goes. But for right now, let's just go straight into it. Let's dive in. Let's start with the rankings. Last week you started us off, and I want you to continue that. I want you to start us off with your number 15, take us all the way to number 11.
All right. So for number 15, I think you had last week. I don't remember what spot, but he was in your rankings last week. And so I'm gonna start off at number 15 with Antonio Gibson.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. So last season, for those of you that don't remember last season, you already gave all the stats, but I'm gonna just go ahead and refresh everybody's memory. Last season he was running back 10. Okay, which to me that was a surprise because I feel like there were a lot of other players that were killing it, but due to injuries and certain things like this, he was able to get running back 10. So he played 16 games. He had 258 attempts. So looking at all the other running backs, that's a lot of attempts.
That's a lot.
He went over 1,000 yards. He had 42 receptions and a little less than 300 receiving yards with a total of 10 touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I do think he doesn't get over 1,000 yards again. I don't see him doing that. Although he is going to get an upgrade in quarterback, and what Wentz was able to do with this man last season was unbelievable. However, he's downgrading in team, and Carson Wentz likes to extend the plays a little bit more, and he has legs, right? So he'll probably be running the ball a little bit more. But yeah, I also see some touchdown regression. I don't see him going double digits. And I feel like for this season, he's definitely going to have to depend a lot on his touchdowns. I don't see him regressing a lot, maybe getting 7 or 8, but I definitely don't see him going double digits. However, his schedule is pretty easy. It's 4 out of 5. Which is not bad. I see him regressing. I don't see him. I feel like Wentz is going to mainly focus with Scary Terry. I feel like that's going to be his number one guy. And I feel like they're really going to want to implement their tight end. You know what I mean? They don't want to just rely on Gibson. So that's why I have him at 15. At 14, I have a man that you also had last week, Zeke.
I had him at 16. Just right off.
Yep. So, just two off. So last season he was running back 7. Bro, listen to this, right? So overall running back 7. Even though he was playing like if he was injured, like he wasn't the same, he played every single game. 17 games. He played all 17 games, right? He had 237 attempts, which goes back to what I said about Gibson, that, he had a lot of attempts. He had 258 attempts. So anyway, Zeke had 21 less attempts than he did. However, he also reached he just made it on the last game. He just made it. He had 1,002 yards.
That's crazy.
I know. He really wanted those, that 1K.
Yep.
47 receptions, 287 receiving yards. The receptions, it's something that we're not used to. Well, he had less than what we're used to. All right. Because Pollard is he's coming in on his own. He's really forcing a role for himself. However, I feel like the stat that made him running back 7 was his touchdowns. 12 touchdowns. 12 touchdowns. That's really good. You know what I'm saying? And you're in a team that likes to throw a lot, that the quarterback likes to rush in himself for touchdowns, and you got another running back in Pollard that's performing better than your starting running back, and you still get 12 touchdowns. That's really good. All right. However, I do see regression, right? So, which is why I have him going down from 7 to 14. Why? Because I think Pollard is going to take a big step. I feel like last season was like a little blueprint, a little test of like what they could do with both running backs. So now I feel like now that they saw that could work out, they're going to be like, you know what? We're going to start implementing Pollard a little bit more, maybe, in that pass catching role, maybe to rest Zeke's legs a bit, to prevent him from any injuries. We're going to have him rush a little bit more. So I do see him regressing. I don't see him gaining 1,000 yards. He struggled all the way to the last game to get 1,000. I don't see him getting 1,000 this time. However, his schedule is easy, 4 out of 5 stars again, but I feel like that's going to benefit Pollard more than Zeke.
I hope so.
So let's see. So I don't see him getting double-digit touchdowns, and I don't see him going over 1,000 yards. He's gonna cut it close. He might get between like 950 and 980, but I don't see him going over 1,000 yards.
If he gets
he's gonna be mad. He's gonna be mad about it.
If he gets to 950 or 980 week 17, and they're clinched, he's gonna play to get that 1K.
Yeah,
again.
probably. So that's why I have him at 14.
Yeah.
At 13, I have Leonard Fournette. So this is another guy that I was very surprised. Well, not that surprised, but he was running back 6 last season.
Yep. Went crazy.
Right. And a majority of that is thanks to who? The GOAT, as much as I hate to say it,
I'm just
the
pretending
GOAT
to say that.
himself, Tom Brady. All right.
Yeah.
So he didn't even play 17 games. He played 14 games,
Mhm.
not that many attempts, 180. He had 811 rushing yards, 69 receptions. He had 454 yards to go with those receptions and 10 touchdowns.
Yep.
All right. So he was running back 6. I would not expect that. I wouldn't, if I was looking at last season, I would be like, yeah, maybe top 15, but not top 10.
Amazing.
Him going into running back 6 again, maybe it has a lot to do with other running backs getting injured, not playing much, that it bumped up a couple of these other running backs. But regardless, he's still he's a good running back.
Yeah.
However, I do see him going down because I do see some regression. I see Tom Brady, he's gonna want to go out with a bang. All right. He loves that redemption. I feel like that's the only reason he came back, because he's like, I'm going out with a bang. I'm going to try my best to win this Super Bowl, and I'm going to go out breaking records. So I feel like this season he's going to throw like never before.
Yeah.
Like never before. And I feel like the only way that Fournette is going to really get his points is being in the red zone trying to score touchdowns.
Yeah.
All right. So that's what I see. I see his rushing maybe not nowhere near 811. That's just me. I see his receptions dipping also, but his touchdowns could go up. All right. But I feel like all the other numbers going down is going to have him dip a bit. And the schedule doesn't help. He has 2 out of 5 starts, which is tough. So then that's going to be maybe another reason for Tom Brady to throw more. You know what I mean? You have a new head coach, which, yeah, he's already been there and he's a little bit more defensive minded. Tom Brady's probably going to be like, look, let me take care of the offensive side. I'll call the plays, or we could share that role, whatever, and I'll take care of it. And I feel like if he does that, he's definitely going to be throwing the ball more than actually rushing. So that's why I have him at 13.
Not to mention they also got Julio Jones for a reason. So,
bro, my God, yeah, how did I forget that? Exactly, Julio Jones. That's a crazy pickup.
Yep.
That's a crazy pickup. So you add that to the mix. So that's why I have him at 13. And number 12, I have a guy that you had last season for some reason. Last week, Josh Jacobs.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, man. Look,
12. Okay.
I have him in the same spot he was last season.
Yeah.
Running back 12.
Yeah.
Same exact spot. He played 15 games last season, 217 attempts, 872 rushing yards, 54 receptions, 348 receiving yards, and 9 touchdowns. All right. I feel like with the pickup of Devontae Adams, they're going to be a lot more in the red zone. Now, yeah, a lot of people might say, look, the red zone is going to be strictly for Devontae Adams, strictly for the big body that Waller is. And if not, they're going to rely on Renfrow. I feel like that's where they're going to want to control the clock, running the ball in the red zone. Okay. Because, they're definitely going to want to run it first down, second down. And I feel like Josh Jacobs in the red zone will be able to do some damage. I really do think so. So I see him going double digits. In 2020, he had 12 touchdowns. I see him going better than that, to be honest. I see him getting 13, 14 touchdowns just because they're going to be on the field so much more. Okay.
Yeah.
They have a nice defense who their chemistry just keeps elevating, starting with Crosby.
Yeah.
And then the offense just became more explosive. You know what I mean? So that's why I have him in the same spot as last season.
Okay.
And yes, the schedule is a little bit tough. Same thing, 2 out of 5 stars. But I feel like he's just going to have so much opportunity that he's going to be able to take advantage of that, of those opportunities. So that's why I have him again at number 12.
Fair.
And to finish off at number 11, I have a guy who was running back 8 last season. Out of all my top 15, this is the guy that I'm probably a little bit more skeptical, a little iffy about the ranking that I have him in. Okay.
In a good way or in a bad way?
In a bad way.
Okay.
Because just as I have him as 11, I feel like he could easily be outside the top 15. And it's very rare. It's very rare because this guy is a beast. Okay. He is like the focal point of his team. But, and last season being running back 8, it showed that even though they didn't have a great quarterback, even though they didn't have great receivers, it's like he was that high running back 8 for a reason. Because he is, the number 1, the number 2, the number 3. It's this guy, right? So I have Alvin Kamara at number 11.
Okay.
He only played 13 games, right? Which showcases that they were utilizing him a little bit too much. That he wasn't able to complete some games.
Yeah.
He had 240 attempts, a little less than 900 rushing yards. He had 47 receptions, a little less than 450 receiving yards, and 9 touchdowns. All right. Mind you, he played 15 games in 2020 and 14 games in 2019. I don't see him getting double-digit touchdowns this season either. All right. I see him playing around 12 games. Why? I do think he's going to get injured again. Again, it's been 3 seasons. He hasn't been able to complete a full season. 3 seasons in a row. Okay, 14, 15, and 13. All right. Now I feel like he's got to really think about these things. Like, okay, I'm about to get a quarterback that we're not so really sure about this guy. Yeah, we got good wide receivers now. You know, you got Michael Thomas coming back. However, you don't know if he's gonna be a little rusty, what's gonna happen.
He looks so good in training, so I hope not.
Listen, training is completely different.
Oh, of course,
completely
different
different.
speed.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody's going a little bit easier on everybody else. So yeah, but I see him regressing a bit just because I really don't think that he's gonna play a full season. That's what my gut feeling is telling me. I don't think he reaches 1,000 yards either. I see him maybe getting the same thing he had last season. The 9 touchdowns, I do see that regressing a little bit, maybe between 7 and 8, not that much. Just enough to drop down 3 spots. Toughness of the schedule, very average. 3 out of 5 stars. So you know, for him, that's good. But still, I don't see him doing better than last season.
Okay. Listen, I'm not mad at that. You could say first batch. At number 15. I have somebody who I am so happy last season went crazy. RB5 last year.
Oh.
No. I just think he takes a dip, and this might be a big dip, but I had to put him there. James Conner.
Ooh.
Yeah, I got him at 15.
Really? I think that's low.
I know. I listen, when I was looking through my rankings, I was like, okay, this could be low, but at the end of the day, I had to put it there. Okay. So again,
tell me why. Give me your whys.
I'll tell you why right now. RB5 last year, phenomenal. Last year, he had 202 attempts, 752 yards, 37 catches, 375 receiving yards. But the thing that helped him so much, 18 touchdowns. Mind you, he only played 15 games. Okay.
Yeah.
18 touchdowns in 15 games. That is phenomenal. Okay.
Yeah.
I think that regresses like a lot. Like I see him still in double digits.
A lot.
I see him in double digits, but I see like 10, 12 touchdowns. Definitely not 18. I don't want to push to 15. I think 12 is like, to me, if he hits 12, I'm like phenomenal. The rushing yards, 752. The year before he had 721, so it's like right around the range. But yeah, I just feel like with James Conner, it's always a risk because of injury history. Okay. He's been in the league since 2017, and the amount of games he's played in order from 17 to 21 has been 12, 13, 10, 13, 15. So last season was the biggest season he had, 15 games, which is great.
Okay.
But he always misses a game or two, apparently, maybe even more. And I feel like if they keep relying on him so much, we saw it at the end of last season, he got hurt. And I think if they do it again, it's just going to happen again. I know they got rid of Chase Edmonds, but that kid behind him, Benjamin, they're big on him. They got Hollywood Brown now. D-Hop is coming back after 6 games. Zach Ertz is still in town. I think this Arizona Cardinals team just turns a little bit more focus on the pass than the run.
Okay.
And, like I said, the 752 yards, I see him dipping to maybe 700, 650. The receiving yards, it was really great to see him have 375 receiving yards, but I think that dips to at least 300. And again, the touchdowns, there's no way he repeats 18 again. I would say 10 to 12. If he hits 15, that's a shock to me, but a pleasant shock. Okay. But yeah, I just think he's going to dip. I know it's a big dip. It's 10 spots, but I think when you lose that many touchdowns and if you get hurt, hopefully he doesn't, but if he does, it's logical that he's going to dip, but yeah, that's why he's at 15. At 14, this is somebody that I just know you're going to tell me you should have swapped them at least, but I love this kid way too much. RB17 last year in a committee. Looks like he'll be in a committee again this year, but I think he takes over a little bit more, which is why I push him up 3 spots. The man himself, Javonte Williams.
No way.
I love Javonte Williams.
No way.
He is a phenomenal player. Rookie year, 17 games, 203 attempts, 903 yards, 43 receptions, 316 receiving yards, 7 total touchdowns. Now, that all came with him technically being the backup. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
This year they switch roles. Yes, he's still not the full bell cow lead our team, but now he's the starter and Melvin's behind him. And yes, Melvin will chip in and Melvin will slow him down. But when
honestly, I don't know how much of a starter he is, bro.
No, he's a guaranteed starter. I can promise you that. But
no,
the thing to me is a lot of people are getting worried because Russ is in town. They think, I think you said it too, that they're gonna become such a pass heavy team. And I agree. I think they're gonna pass more than they run. But that doesn't mean that you're gonna be all right, Javonte, take a back seat, Melvin, take a back seat. They're still gonna be balanced because they don't want to run fatigue on Russ's arm. They don't want to run a risk of injuring him. I think it's gonna be a balanced team that passes a little bit more than they run. But if Javonte's a starter, even if they split carries, he's gonna hit 1,000 yards. Those receptions, 43, he's gonna go to 50 because Russell Wilson, and we know it, Chris Carson, who is not a receiving back, okay, was getting a lot of looks from Russell Wilson. And keep in mind, this is the same Russell Wilson that had DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. Now he's gonna have Cortland Sutton and Jerry Jeudy. So it's not like anything changes there.
Yeah, but now he was throwing to Chris Carson because you had nobody behind him, really. Nobody that was really wanting to catch. So they kind of forced Chris Carson to catch the ball. You got Gordon, who has history, who you look at his tapes and the man can catch and can do damage with it.
Of course. That's why they're going to be on pitch count. But to me, what they're going to do is they're going to balance it perfectly where they don't want to become a predictable team either. They don't want it to be like where teams know, all right, well, if Javonte's in, he's going to run. If Melvin's in, they're probably going to throw. No. They're going to balance it so that both run, both catch. So I think Melvin still does well. But I think Javonte, I'm not blowing them out of like if these guys never came out and said that they're going to be, 1A, 1B, it's a committee, it's 50-50, Javonte would have been top 10 for me easily because he has that potential. Yeah. But once they said that, I was like, all right, let's lower the expectations. I got him at RB14, 3 spots up from last year because I do think he hits 1,000 yards rushing. I do think the receiving yards from 316, nothing crazy, maybe like 350. The total touchdowns from 7, I think he goes up to 10. Okay. They're going to be in the red zone much more than they were with Drew Lock. The fact that he got 7 touchdowns with Terry Bridgewater and Drew Lock as his quarterback for a rookie is impressive. Now you got
Russell Wilson. I mean, I can see it happening. Yeah.
Yeah. I can see him going to at least 10, if not 10, like 9, 8 touchdowns, which still will help him a lot. So yeah, I got him at 14. If Melvin wasn't there or if Melvin goes down, locked in RB1. Yeah. But right now he's safest at RB2, definitely safe at flex. RB2, it's like, you're just really hoping for that big play, that big day. If Melvin goes down, though, RB1, like locked in RB1.
Bell cow, bro.
Yeah.
Bell cow.
But now, moving on to number 13. Somebody that I feel like lets me down because he can't really catch the ball. It also doesn't help that the person behind him, that's a specialty. We're going back to
going to say Singletary?
No. We're going to go back to 2 running backs in one team. RB13 last year, RB13 this year, Mr. Nick Chubb.
Oh, okay.
I think Nick Chubb is a really, really good running back, but in my opinion, he's too one-dimensional. Okay, he's a bruiser, he's a straight runner.
Yeah.
He could cut the ball, he could juke, but like it's not his strength. He doesn't really catch the ball. 16 games 2018. 16 games 2019, 12 in 2020, 14 last year. Last year, he had 228 attempts, 1,259 yards, 20 catches, 174 receiving yards, 9 total touchdowns. The most he's ever caught in his career is 2019, 36 catches, which is pretty good. But ever since Kareem Hunt came, obviously he's taken a backseat to that role, number 1. Number 2, he's proven he doesn't have the best hands.
Right.
Now, as long as Deshaun Watson is playing, he'll be a great running back. But when Deshaun Watson gets suspended, which we already know is going to be at least 6 games, if the appeal goes through and they win it a year, he's not going to produce the same with Jacoby Brissett. Okay. Jacoby Brissett is not bad, but I'll tell you this. If I lose,
I think otherwise. I'm
telling you right now, in my opinion, if you lose Deshaun Watson and you put these 2 quarterbacks in front of me, Baker Mayfield and Jacoby Brissett, I'm picking Baker Mayfield every day. Especially for what I've said multiple times, I think he knew how to manage that team well. He wasn't outstanding, but he knew what to get out of him. Just like Jimmy G for me. But that's besides the point. I just don't see Nick Chubb going crazy, and he seems to get hurt every year now. He can't last
Oh my
the whole
god, we have
season.
we have such different point of views on this.
I know. I had a feeling.
Oh,
I
I
had a
can't
that's
wait
what
to argue differently because I do have him higher. I
I
do
know.
have him higher.
I figured.
But oh
The fact that you
man.
haven't said it me, I know he's in the top 10. But yeah, to me, I don't know. I don't see him hit. He almost hit 1,300 yards last season. I don't see him hitting that. I see him if he hits 1,000, maybe 1,100. Great.
Yeah.
Those catches, 20, maybe stays around the same ballpark. 174 yards, I guess same ballpark. I'll lower it to 150. 9 total touchdowns. Maybe he goes up to like 10, and like that counteracts the loss of yards and stuff. But yeah, I don't think he's gonna decrease a whole amount, but I also don't think he's gonna increase a whole amount, which
Yeah.
is why he's at 13, just like last year. At number 12, I have somebody slightly higher than what you had. Okay.
Okay.
Leonard Fournette. Simple as that. Leonard Fournette for
Not
me is my
bad.
number 12. RB6 last year, which again, just like you said, very, very shocking. I
Yeah.
always liked Leonard Fournette. I liked him in
Mhm.
the Jaguars. I feel like he was a little bit too disrespected in the Jaguars. In 2019, when I won that championship, he was my running back. He was my RB2. He did pretty well
Yeah.
for me. So, I'll always love him for that. And I think last season kind of showed that he could do it all. A lot of talks were like, well, he can't catch the ball. Bro, 69 catches is going back to that Jacksonville Jaguars, the year that I won the championship, his best year. 15 games, 265 attempts, 1,152 yards, 76 catches, 522 yards. The thing that killed him was 3 touchdowns. That's all he had.
Yep. Yep.
This year, not as many yards, not as many attempts, 180, so 85 less, 811 yards, so about 340 less, 69 catches, only 7 less, 454 yards, only 80 less, but 10 total touchdowns. So that benefited him a lot.
Yep.
To be RB6. This year, I agree with everything you said. Okay. They become a little bit pass heavier. That O-line also changed, so it's not as good to run. It's more to protect Tom Brady. So I think they're going to become more pass heavy. Mike Evans is still there. They just signed Julio Jones. Russell Gage, I know he got hurt during training camp, but he might be fine for the season. Chris Godwin, even if he doesn't start week 1, he's going to be back, and they're going to be looking for him heavy. One of your breakout candidates, Cameron Brate, he's probably going to be a decent part of the offense. So Leonard Fournette's he's not going to be forgotten, but I think Leonard Fournette's a safe RB2. The 811 rushing yards. Let's say he goes up to 850. Sure.
I feel like his all his yardage is gonna come after Tampa Bay already has a good lead on other teams. Because I feel like when they're close, Tom Brady is gonna be focused on throwing the ball. Because I feel like the only way for him to save himself and not injure himself and last long deep into the season is if they get a lead early in the game so that they could just control the ball. However, all these other teams, man, they're becoming more explosive. So the games might be closer than you think, and he's gonna have to throw the ball, man.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I think I like Fournette a lot, and I think it'd be great to see him again in the top 10. But I see him slightly out of it. I see him in 12. Rooting for him always. Not the Bucks, not Tom Brady, but him. But yeah, I still got him at 12. Now, at number 11, we have our second overall, because last week we had one. Our second overall consensus pick.
Nice.
Alvin Kamara, number 11. Now, same thing you said. I agree that I think, they're working him a little too much, which is why he's been hurt so much lately.
Yeah.
I don't think he is the focal point anymore in his offense because what you said, Michael Thomas is back, hopefully back to his best, or at least close to it. Chris Olave looks like a promising prospect. Yeah. Jarvis Landry, we know Jarvis Landry. He's secure hands. Okay.
He's gonna eat.
Jameis Winston, is he the best quarterback? No, but he's not terrible. Again, I think he gets much more hate than he should. I know he got that infamous 30-30 season where he threw, 30 touchdowns, 30 interceptions. But hey, man, 30 touchdowns at the end of the day. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the Saints will take another season like that from Jameis Winston because that means his receivers 8, Alvin Kamara probably 8, and they're in playoffs. So, yes, they'll be a little frustrated with 30 interceptions, but hey, you got 30 touchdowns, kid. We're good. So, I think the Saints are a little bit better this year. I just worry for Kamara's health, 1. And 2, the suspension. Okay, I don't think they suspend him in the middle of the season. But again, with the NFL, you just
We've
never
seen it
know.
happen before.
Exactly.
We've seen it happen before.
You just never know. So like Alvin Kamara, in his 5 years in the NFL, never hit 1,000 rushing yards. The closest he's gone is 2020, 932 rushing yards.
That's crazy to me.
That's insane. Like you would think Alvin Kamara is like 1,000 yards
Yep.
rushing, 500 receiving every year. He's not. But this is his bread and butter. Catches from 2017 to now, 81, 81, 81, 83. Last year, 47. Cut in half,
Yep.
basically. Obviously, a little bit less than half, but you know what I mean. Yardages, 826, 709, 533, 756, 439. Touchdowns, 13, 18, 6, 21, back down to 9. So if we go by averages, technically this year he should be going crazy with touchdowns.
Yeah.
I just don't see that happening though. Okay, because you also got to keep in mind those first 2 years were still the best years of Drew Brees. 2019, he had a bad year himself, 14 games only. 2020, last year of Drew Brees, so he went crazy. And then 2021, it was kind of a glimpse of what's going to happen when Jameis Winston, or if Jameis Winston goes down, they don't really have much else. So I don't know. I don't see Kamara going crazy again. I think it might take another year for him to go back to like elite RB1 status. I think he's a safe RB2 though. The biggest issue again is that suspension in my eyes. If he doesn't get suspended, I see him going definitely 930 yards rushing. Receiving, he could probably hit 500 again. The touchdowns is where I'm like, I don't know. 9 touchdowns, he might get 10, possibly. I don't know.
I see him going between like 11 and like 10 and 12.
It could be.
I see him going between 10 and
but
12.
I definitely see him going from RB8 to RB11, just outside the top 10. But again, he's one of those that if he could end up top 5 and it wouldn't shock me. He's that good. He's a top 5 back. So, but yeah, that's my 15 to 11. I know I told you a couple shocks, a couple pleasant surprises, but that's rankings, baby. But now let's move into number 10 to number 6. Let's see what you got.
All right. So at number 10, I have a guy that you just had him at number 15. All right. I feel like you had him way too low. All right. I mean, we both agree he's going to regress. We agree with that. Yeah. We agree that he's not going to get 18 touchdowns. Okay. James Conner is my number 10.
It's funny to me, just real quick. He was 5 last year. You got him at 10. I got him at 15. So we're just going out by 5 each of us.
That's funny. That's funny. Yeah. So like you said, you already said it all. RB5. 15 games, 202 attempts, a little over 750 rushing yards, 18 touchdowns, which is insane. So obviously I see touchdown regressions.
Yeah.
So I want to touch up on what you said about the stats of the games that he has played all the previous seasons. I was very big on him last season, and I said it.
I remember that, yeah.
I said from the beginning, look, he's gonna go to a stadium or from an atmosphere that was him playing in the cold that hurts your body to now moving to a dome with hot weather. Okay. To me, that is a major upgrade because you're going to go to better weather. You could stay healthier. I feel like it's a win-win for me. Okay. For both the team and the player. Okay. And I said it last year. I was like, listen, this guy is going to eat. Right now he is at number 2, but he's going to take over Chase Edmonds' spot. That's exactly what happened. And it goes to show how many games he played. Yeah, he didn't play a full season. However, looking at all the seasons that you said from 2017, this is the season that he played the most games. Why? Yeah. I think because he was playing in a dome, because of the weather, because the weather didn't affect him in any way. And I feel like now that he played one season, a full season like that, and he's going to have a full off season and he's going to feel more comfortable, I feel like that's going to continue. However, I do see the touchdown regressing. I don't see him getting 18 touchdowns. Nowhere near that. That's like record breaking for him, obviously. I do see him going over 1,000 yards. Why? He's going to be the main guy. There's a reason why they let Edmonds go. Okay. Yeah, they got Benjamin behind Conner, but I feel like Conner is going to be the guy that was when he first began with the Steelers. Okay. Not quite as good, but I feel like he'll be able to produce the same bruising, the same attitude that he had when he was with the Steelers those first couple of seasons as the bell cow, right? Constantly. Okay. That was exactly what he was. I feel like Arizona is going to utilize him like that because I feel like he is 100% healthy. He's ready. So I feel like the yardage are going to go up immensely. However, the touchdowns will regress. Yeah. Why? Because now they have more players to throw to. Like Hollywood, DeAndre Hopkins is gonna come back. So I feel like he's gonna be wanting the ball. He's gonna come back hungry. You know what I mean? And Ertz is he's always a threat in the end zone.
Yep.
So I definitely see that. And again, his schedule is tough. 2 out of 5 stars, that's tough, especially going into the red zone. They already know, all the teams know exactly what he did last season. 18 touchdowns, right? So Arizona's gonna have to shy away from that and be like, look, they're gonna be expecting us to go with Connor since he succeeded so much. Yeah, they might give him the first and second down, but then after that, if he doesn't succeed, because I feel, and honestly, I don't think he's gonna succeed that much because they're gonna completely crowd that that whole red zone. They're gonna be throwing the ball more in the red zone.
Yep.
So I feel like he's definitely gonna lose some touchdowns there. But yeah, I do see him. I feel like the numbers that he's gonna that are gonna go up a lot is the yardage. I do think he surpasses 1,000 yards. So that's why I have him at 10. Still regressing like you, but I do see him 5 spots better than you.
There's one thing I forgot to mention.
Yeah.
And another big part of that is Kyler Murray, bro. He didn't run as much as he usually does last year. This year, I think he's gonna go back to, especially in the red zone. A lot of RPOs, a lot of design runs. I think Kyler Murray just rushes in a little bit more this year. So
exactly. Yeah. If anything, I see his touchdowns going up.
Yeah,
I see him
100%.
stealing some touchdowns from Connor because it's like, yo, if this was so good for Connor, they're gonna be expecting him to run. I could use him as a decoy. Yeah, do a bunch of RPOs and run it in myself.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So I definitely 100% agree with you. I see that happening. So that's why I have him at number 10. At number 9, David Montgomery.
Damn.
Oh yeah.
On the worst team. Just want to clear that. On the worst team in the NFL.
Yes, but
Go ahead. Explain yourself.
Why?
Yep.
Running back 19 last season, right?
Mm-hmm.
He played 13 games, 225 attempts, 849 rushing yards. He had 42 receptions with 301 receiving yards and 7 touchdowns. I have him going 10 spots higher. Why? I see him getting double-digit touchdowns between 10 and 11. And on top of that, I see him getting 1K rushing yards.
Okay.
That's just me. Why? I feel like they're going to have to rely on him a lot. Yeah, for some reason, they don't trust Fields. Mooney is coming into his own, which is amazing. But at running back, they're going to have to rely on him to be able to win some games. He has the easiest schedule. Nobody else has 5 stars out of 5 stars than him for a running back. Okay, so he has an easy schedule. I feel like he'll be able to succeed there. I do see him going to double digits from 7 touchdowns to like 10 or 11. And again, I just feel like he's going to be that bell cow that they're going to need to rely on him. They're going to need to have him to control that clock. And I mean, honestly, Chicago's tired of losing. They're going to want to control that game. How? Through Montgomery. Okay. So I do see him going over 1,000. I do see him getting at least 10 touchdowns. And again, and the easy schedule is it's like icing on the cake for him. So I see him going up 10 spots for that reason at number 9. At number 8, this might be my first surprise. This man was a beast. I mean, he is a beast. Still is. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, I think I know exactly what you're talking about. Uh-huh.
The man is still a beast.
Okay.
This guy, he played not even half of the season last season.
Oh yeah, it's the same guy.
Okay. All right. So King Henry at number 8.
You know what? The thing is, it's not bad. I just like it's still too low.
Listen. Last season he was running back 22. Yeah, you look at that and you're like, wow, how is that possible? Relax. He only played 8 games last season because he was injured. Okay.
Well, hold on, before we continue, that to me is the crazy part. He played 8 games, 8 games, less than half a season, and he still ended in the top 25. So either he's that good or the rest of the league just slacked. But go ahead.
Listen to his numbers. With 8 games, 219 attempts. Already 219 attempts.
How is that possible, G?
That's just attempts. Okay. With 8 games, 937 rushing yards.
Bro.
8 games, bro. 18 receptions, 154 receiving yards with 10 touchdowns. And that's all with just 8 games. Yeah. Let that sink in for a little bit. Yeah, that's wild, insane.
The thing is with those stats, right? If you lied and you said that was a full season for any other player, you'd be like, well, I'm drafting him in the second round. Like if you told me, like, this guy played a full season, these are his stats. His name is Cam Akers. I'm like, well, Cam Akers is my RB2. Like, this is insane stats. That the fact that it was 8 games, bro.
It's crazy because he was on track to do what he was doing the previous 2 seasons before that, 2020 and 2019. He was going to go over 2,000 yards.
Yeah.
Okay. If you're looking at the numbers here before he went down. So obviously I do see him improving from running back 22 to running back 8, 100%. That was probably the easiest pick for me. However, I don't see him going in the top 5 for one reason only. Okay. I do see him getting injured again. However, I do see him playing over 8 games for sure. I do see that.
Again, I hope so.
I see him playing maybe somewhere between 12 and 15 games. 12 and 15 games. I do see those obviously from last season. I do see those numbers improving. Of course, from 8 games, all of those numbers are going to improve. Okay. Obviously, he's gonna go over 1,000 yards easily.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if he goes 1,500. By the time he gets injured.
I would argue 1,500. Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if he goes 15 touchdowns. However, he could be gone within that 11th, that 12th game, or he could be gone within the 15th game. However, I just feel like the way they've been utilizing him, now that he was never injury prone ever before, right? Ever before. And I feel like you and me spoke about it. I wish we had this podcast last year because we were talking about this.
We called it in a way.
Bro, we said it. We were like, the second he goes down with his first injury, he's just gonna start going down in a nice, slow, steady slope. Yeah. And sadly, I feel like that's what's about to begin. I feel like his body size, the way they've been utilizing him, you can't do that. You cannot do that to a guy, of his stature. So it's like, I see maybe between, what? Now I'm like convincing myself that he might play less. I see him playing between 10 and 12 games. And his schedule is tough. And you got to think about this. Who are you going to throw to over there? Who? You got nobody. Everybody knows you. This is the main focus here. Derrick Henry, this is the main focus. Yeah. So, and no matter if the other teams know, and let's say I'm the Titans, I know that that I'm going to go to him. You still have no choice. You have to give him the ball. So I feel like he's going to start off the season hot. He might start off as running back 1, because I think last season he was running back 1 within those first 8 games. Yeah. And then, he was just like,
I think almost towards the end, I don't remember the exact week, but I know it was like double-digit weeks. He was still like RB6 or something. And everybody's like, yo, how?
Yeah, exactly. So I do see him getting injured again. And I really hope I'm wrong. This is the one that I'm like, I hope I am wrong about this. Yeah. I hope I'm wrong, because if he doesn't get injured, the man could be fighting for JT as number 1 overall. It's really, that's the reality of it. That's the reality, because his yards alone, everybody wishes they had that. Over 2,000 yards. What? That's insane. So I have him at number 8. Okay. Now at number 7, you might be surprised about this one too.
Oh,
I'm not sure. Honestly, we might have this guy on the same spot. I don't know why. I just got the feeling I'm looking at him and I feel like we might have him in the same spot. Okay, this guy was running back 15 last season. Okay. He is in a team now that has improved a lot. Both, not on the defensive line, on the defensive side, they've improved a lot. Offensively, they got something good going. All right. They got a nice wide receiver that came out of nowhere. They got something good going. So DeAndre Swift.
My boy.
DeAndre Swift at number 7.
Okay.
I wish I could put him higher. I really do, because I love this guy.
I wish I could put him number 1.
Bro, I really do too. But bro. I feel like the other 6, you know what? You made an argument for my number 6, so I could have maybe swapped them, but whatever. I got him at number 7. Confidently. Okay. So obviously I do see him improving.
Yeah.
So again, he was running back 15 last season.
Mm-hmm.
He only played 13 games. If he would have played a full season, I feel like he would have broken into the top 10.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay. 13 games, 151 attempts. That's not many attempts. Okay. I feel like he's going to get that. He might get almost 180 attempts this season.
I hope so.
Okay. He had 617 rushing yards last season. I see that going to over 800. Okay. I'm not going to say 1,000 just because the Lions are still the Lions and they're going to find a way to lose. Yeah. All right. I do see him improving in rushing yards. He had 62 receptions Okay. I see that improving to like maybe 70 receptions.
To be safe.
Okay. Yeah, just to be safe, 70 receptions, but I wouldn't be surprised if it goes over 75, even 80. I really wouldn't be surprised because they love
I hope
throwing
so.
his way.
I
They
hope
love throwing
so.
his way. I hope so too, honestly. The more I see him, the more I see him catch, the more I see him run the ball. I love it. I love
Yeah.
it. So I see that improving. He had 452 receiving yards. I could easily see that going over 500. And I see him get I'm sorry, last season he had 7 touchdowns. If anything, if the number that out of all those numbers, the one that I could maybe see be the same is the touchdowns.
Okay.
All right. So, in other words, I don't see him regressing in any way at all. I see all his numbers improving, every single one. So, I feel like this was a no brainer from running back 15 to running back 7, right outside my top 5. And I hate it because I'm like, oh man, I could put him in the top 5, but right outside my top 5. And he has an easy schedule, 4 out of 5 stars. He has an easy schedule. The only thing that will hinder that will kind of damage that role is game script. That's really the only thing different that I see. But other than that, I feel like he is in a prime spot to really break into the top 10, potentially top 5.
I hope so.
So I see that happening. That's why I have him at number 7.
Okay.
And to close out at number 6, I have a guy that you had way too low that I do not agree with you at all whatsoever. Nick Chubb.
Okay.
There is no way. You are out of your mind. Out of your mind. This guy was running back 13 last season. You said it. 14 games, 228 attempts.
Yep.
Over 1,200 yards, 20 receptions, 174 receiving yards, 9 touchdowns. I see him going double-digit touchdowns. Okay. Honestly, if Deshaun Watson doesn't play those 6 games or whatever, if he doesn't play, that might be more beneficial for Chubb. Honestly, why? Because they're gonna be forced to utilize him a little bit more. If Deshaun Watson plays, he's gonna go out there and throw bombs.
Yeah, but what if
He's gonna go out there and throw bombs, and it might benefit Kareem Hunt a little bit more.
So my argument to that, the reason why I say it's because I see it opposite. So I see it as if Deshaun Watson's there, sure, yeah, he's gonna throw bombs, whatever. The Browns are probably most likely gonna be leading. Nick Chubb is your time to shine. With Jacoby Brissett, again, he's not bad.
He could
But
win
especially,
games.
yeah, but especially depending on the opponent. They play a really good opponent, they're gonna be losing. They're not gonna run the ball with Nick Chubb. They're gonna be like, yo, we need to throw this ball. That's when Kareem Hunt comes in, which is why Kareem Hunt was low, but he was in my top 30.
All right, but now listen, I'm gonna counter that now.
Mm-hmm.
All these talks with Kareem Hunt wanting an offer or trade.
Or a trade, yeah.
This is what I feel like the Browns are gonna do. Listen, Kareem Hunt, we don't need you. We're gonna show you what we could do with Nick Chubb. We're gonna really let this guy loose. We're gonna really be like, you know what, Kareem, you've been great. We've had the best backfield duo in all of the NFL, but we're gonna show you what he could do because guess what? He did it before you were here.
That's true.
He did it before you were here. So here you go, Chubb. Here you go. I feel like they're gonna trade Kareem Hunt sometime in the middle of the season. It's gonna happen, and I feel like Chubb is gonna benefit, bro. And it's gonna. Oh man, I can't wait, bro. I can't wait. So that's why I have him at number 6, improving from running back 13. He might get injured. Why? Because they're gonna utilize him a little bit too much. So I do see that happening. However, 13, 14 games, I see him playing that much. I do see him playing all those games. And the toughness of the schedule, it's 3 out of 5. So which is average, which is great for him. That's easy for him. So that's why I see him improving. And honestly, I'm glad that you are on the opposite side because now, we got two different arguments.
Yeah.
So I love that. I absolutely love that. So that's why I have him at number 6. And I'm really confident about it. I really am.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Mainly because of the Kareem Hunt situation. I feel like that's gonna is gonna fill them up with pride and be like, all right, you wanna give us trouble? Don't worry about it. We're gonna utilize Chubb the whole way.
Fair enough. Hey, listen, that's definitely one direction they could go in. I don't know. I feel like they know deep down they need Kareem Hunt. Like they need to use Kareem Hunt, especially if Deshaun Watson's not there. But again, we'll see how that plays out. To me, it's still just a big question mark period in the Browns because, like, okay, you already have the Deshaun Watson drama.
Yeah.
Now you have Kareem Hunt drama. Like, what's gonna go down? I need to know what's gonna happen. But season's almost here. We'll find out soon enough. Yep. Let's go into my number 10. My number 10. Another running back tandem. This time he is by far RB1. I have him here because of what I think is gonna help him, which is the catching. He was running back 11 last year. He is running back 10 for me this year. Aaron Jones. from the Green Bay
Ooh.
Packers. Now,
Okay.
the reason being is I'll go into his rushing numbers real quick. Again, he's been in the league since 2017. 17, he had 81 rush attempts, 448 yards. 18, he had 133 for 728. 19, 236 for 1,084. 2020, he had 201 for 1,104. Last season, he had 171 for 799. This is what matters to me, the receptions.
Okay.
Again, going back from 2017, 9 for 22, 26 for 206, 49 for 474, 47 for 355, 52 for 391 with 10 total touchdowns last season. With no Davante Adams, with AJ Dillon on the rise, that 799 probably stays around the same. Maybe he could go either 750 or 850. I see it like in between that.
To me, I mean, we both have them lower because I had them last week,
Yeah,
but damn, I feel like that's a little bit too high.
but I'll tell you why. Because the way I see it, 52 receptions, I think
You
that's
know,
going to,
I still see him going that high though.
yeah, 52 receptions. I see him going to at least 60, 65.
Yeah.
391 receiving yards. I could honestly see him hitting 500. The touchdowns is
Yeah.
where like it gets iffy. 10 touchdowns. It could go down. It could go up. It could stay the
Yeah.
same. You know,
Yeah.
like there's no Davante Adams. That has to go somewhere. So maybe they'll spread out with receivers. But Aaron Jones is a great pass catching back. And if they want to keep him healthy, he gets hurt most of the time when he runs.
Yeah.
You got AJ Dillon, who's a phenomenal runner. Give AJ Dillon a little bit more of the rushing work. Aaron Jones could also rush, but give him more of the passing work. If that happens, I see him moving up just one spot from RB11 to RB10. But I think a lot of people are starting to sleep on him because, oh no, there's no Davante Adams. Aaron
Right.
Rodgers is going to suck. The Packers are going to suck. Bro,
They're gonna utilize him.
yeah, relax. It's Aaron Rodgers, okay? I think Aaron Jones definitely hits at least 65 receptions. And again, that's like to me like a low, like that's his floor. I think he can
Yeah.
easily hit like 70,
Yeah.
75. Like
I can see that happening.
Aaron
I can
Rodgers,
see that
bro.
happening.
It's Aaron Rodgers.
I know I have him low. But I wouldn't be mad. I'll actually be happy if he proves me wrong and makes it top 10.
All the mocks I've been doing, every time it comes back around to me in the loop in the second round and he's there, I contemplate, bro. Like it's not one of those I'm like, yeah, okay, I don't want you. It's one of those where
Yeah.
I look and I'm like,
And you know what's crazy? He's gonna
Hmm.
keep dipping. He's gonna keep dipping.
I ain't gonna be mad. Listen, let him dip to the third round because if he's there for me in the third round, easy money.
Easy.
But again, you know, he's definitely one that I look at and I contemplate a lot. I'm like, ooh, do I want him? But some drafts I've taken him, some I haven't, you know. But RB9, and I know this was gonna be a shock. I know this was gonna put you. You're crazy. You're
Saquon.
bugging.
It's definitely Saquon.
You're not. You're just. You know, you're gonna say all the bad things. But he's gonna be RB9 at least. The man, the myth, the legend. Saquon Barkley. Bro, Saquon Barkley. A generational running back.
Listen. I understand we're Giants fans. I get it. You see my little flag up there.
Yeah.
I understand. But you gotta be realistic, bro.
Bro, listen.
Come on.
Here's my
Come
reasoning. Here's my reasoning.
There is no way.
This is a
Oh,
guy.
you got Chubb. You got
Yeah.
Chubb. Oh my,
and I'll tell you why.
you're
To
insane.
me again. Nick Chubb. Okay. I'm not big on Daniel Jones. You know this. I dislike very
That
highly.
should be your main focus. We got a crappy quarterback.
Yes, we do. But look, let me explain something. I already explained. Nick Chubb, you know, he probably will have, again, Jacoby Brissett's not bad, but not as good as Deshaun Watson, obviously.
Right.
He has a backup who, yes, there could be drama, but if Kareem Hunt stays, I'll tell you this much. If Kareem Hunt leaves, Nick Chubb goes up for me. But while Kareem Hunt's still there and he's being used, that's why Nick Chubb is so low. Saquon doesn't have to look over his shoulder for somebody else. It's Saquon Barkley, and that's it. That's number one. Number two, we drafted linemen that are meant to build holes for Saquon.
True.
Okay. Evan Neal is a beast of a man. Okay. I remember there was this picture that came out. It was a preseason game, I know. But of Saquon running, and you can barely see him. It's like you can see like the right shoulder. And all you see in front of him is a massive Evan Neal ready to block. It's wild. Like they created a hole for Saquon. And I saw that run. And honestly, again, I know it's preseason. And he only had like 4 runs, I think 3 runs.
Yeah.
He looks like he has his burst back. His acceleration was there. His speed was there. His cuts were there. It's still the Giants at the end of the day. Yeah, I know. which is why I'm not massive on him with touchdowns. Like I'm looking at his rookie year where he had 15 total touchdowns. I don't
Yeah.
think that happens. I think if he gets double digits, if it'll be like 10, maybe if he's lucky 11 or 12. But it's the Giants at the end of the day. We'll be lucky to score
Yeah.
10 touchdowns, period.
Yeah.
So I could see him going to what he did second year, 8 touchdowns. I could see that being more realistic for him. The rushing yards. Do I think he hits 1,000 rushing yards?
There's no way, bro. I swear,
think-
if you say this man reaches 1,000 yards,
No. I was gonna
I
say
am turning this off right now.
I don't think he reaches 1,000.
Okay, good.
I think he reaches 2,000. No. In all seriousness, I'll say this: Saquon obviously has the potential to hit 1,500 yards. It's
Yes,
just
he
it's the
does.
Giants. I think he gets close. I think he hits like 850, 900 yards. Like, look, last season on still hurt. He got hurt in the season again. He wasn't 100%. Only played
Yeah.
13 games, but he had basically 600 rushing yards, 593, which is not bad for a year where didn't have an off season, couldn't really work out, was being worked in slowly into the team, and he got hurt
Right.
in the middle of the season. 600 yards, I'll take that. It's kind of like a Derrick Henry thing with just obviously more games. Now he has a full off season. His knee is fully recovered. His ankle, his shoulder, whatever, his body is perfectly fine now. This man, even if he plays only 15 games, let's say he gets injured twice, I
Okay.
can see him hitting 800 yards, maybe, like I said, 900 yards. He'll get close to 1,000. If he hits 1,000, again, wouldn't be shocking me just because of his skill set, period. Like his skill alone could get him 1,000. But at the end of the day, I got to be realistic. Like you said, it is the Giants, so I can't guarantee 1,000 yards, but I think he gets close enough. The thing to me that's going to propel him so high is the way we're going to use him. We're going to focus. Yeah, he's getting hurt a lot, and maybe our O-line is not the best yet, but it's improved. But something that if he's healthy, which he's shown, that nobody can stop, and we don't really kind of need an O-line for that, his receiving work. We're forgetting how good this man is out of the backfield when he catches the ball. Okay. Last season, only 41 catches, 263 yards. Again, terrible scheme, terrible coaching, terrible everything. We have now the ex-offensive coordinator from the Buffalo Bills. This man will get.
I'm happy about that.
Yeah, he'll get creative enough to make sure Saquon, who everybody knows is the star of the team, gets those touches, gets the holes, gets the space. Point is, I think Saquon hits 180 attempts because he had 162 last year. I'll push him just 180. He could obviously reach 200, but again, I want to be on the safer side with him. 180, 185, 800, 850 rushing yards. I say at least 55 catches for honestly 450 yards. And again, the touchdowns, I go anywhere between 8 to 12. I'll put it in that range. Definitely not 15, but 8 to 12 total. RB30 is not his potential. RB9 is to me his floor. I really okay now, maybe not his floor, but RB9 is definitely to me something that he's capable of just because of his talent alone. And again, the Giants are building the team. I know we haven't re-signed them to deal, but everything we're doing, we're showing like, we're building the team around Saquon. So I think they just want to make sure he proves it this year. And once he proves it, they're like, all right, come here, let's give you the contract. Because we're seeing what happened with CMC, gave him that massive contract. Then 2 years in a row, he's been, not an asset. So I think they don't want to commit yet. They want to say, okay, you say you're fully healthy. We're giving you a full off season. We got you a new coach. We got you a new online. Show us this year. You'll get your money. And I just, obviously favoritism plays a little bit in there. I love Saquon. I love the Giants, even though, again, they hurt me every year. But again, it's just the talent, bro. Like, honestly, obviously, if you played for like, I don't know, the Colts instead of JT, he'd be like top 5 because the Colts all.
So you would choose him over Nick Chubb?
Yes, absolutely. I've done it already in mocks. I've seen Nick Chubb. I've seen Saquon. I've gone Saquon because again, Nick Chubb is a great runner. He's a bruiser, but he runs so much, he's gonna get hurt. I know Saquon has that risk too. The biggest difference to me, Saquon can catch, and he has nobody behind him taking that role.
Bro,
Nick Chubb, his hands aren't there, and Kareem Hunt back there, he got the hands. So again, if Kareem Hunt gets traded before the season starts, that's when Nick Chubb pushes up for me.
Nick Chubb is going to show that he could catch because there was a couple that one season that you said, I don't remember what season it was, that he had like, I don't know how many catches. That season he was catching nice. However, let's talk about Saquon. I think he's going to get injured again. Honestly.
I hope not. Don't bring that juju over here.
Listen, I hope not. I hope I'm wrong. I hope you're right. I hope he gets into that top 10. I really do. There's nothing more that I want than to see the Giants succeed. especially led by this man. Saquon deserves to be there. He deserves a postseason. He deserves all these things. However, I don't see it, man. I feel like, yeah, you got Evan Neal, but I feel like one man is not gonna be, enough for him to get all these holes, to get all these things. It's not gonna happen, bro. I do not see that happening.
Well,
So
keep in
I
mind
think you are crazy.
we also got John Feliciano, who came from where? The Buffalo Bills. With who? I'm telling you,
Listen,
look,
I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong.
I think there's writing on the wall. I think we're definitely in a good spot in between us. You had him at 24. I have him at 9. So that gap in between, I think 24 is definitely his floor. 9, I wouldn't say is his ceiling, but it's close to his ceiling. Anywhere between that, it would make sense. Like if he ends up RB, I don't know, let's say 13, none of us would be shocked. RB 15, no shock there. So
yeah, I'll be happy. I'll be super happy.
I'll be happy.
I'll be the first one to be like, Saquon, I'm so happy I'm wrong. Thank you for proving me wrong. I'm excited for that. I have you on my team.
Exactly. Let's move on for Saquon. I think we've talked about him well enough, which I mean makes sense. Giants fans, so of course we're gonna get into it.
Of course.
But just to keep it going, number 8. This one might be a shock. I think it's definitely a shock for people watching, but I don't know how it's gonna feel like for you.
Number 8.
I got this man dipping. He was RB3 last year.
No way.
Wait, Najee Harris.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, I got Najee Harris as RB8 this year. Very simple reason. Phenomenal rookie year. Okay. Really good rookie year. Played all 17 games. 307 attempts.
Yeah, that's insane.
1,200 yards on the dot. 74 catches, 467 yards, 10 total touchdowns. Quite literally a workhorse, a bell cow, the franchise.
Oh, yeah.
There's a reason why I scale him down. Few reasons. One, again, I know it's kind of contradictory because last week I said I don't like to listen to coach talk. Right. When it comes to this type of coach talk, I do listen to because it's usually true. They said they want to scale him back a little bit because it's 307 touches.
Yeah, that's insane.
Not even touches. 307 rushing attempts. That's a lot, bro.
Yeah.
Like, if he keeps this going, he's gonna be the next Derrick Henry. He's gonna be not even Derrick Henry because he's not built like that. He's the next CMC. He's gonna be the next CMC, bro. And I don't want to see that.
I more like a Kamara. I see him kind of like a Kamara.
Well, the only reason I say CMC is because Kamara at least.
Oh, but you're talking about like in terms of injury.
Yes. That's what I'm saying. Okay, in terms of injury, like he's gonna be like a CMC where maybe this year he proves me wrong and he goes 1,000, and then next year his first injury. The year after, no, again. And I don't want that.
I can see that happening if they keep utilizing him like
I like Najee a lot, bro. He's such a good guy. Like all his interviews, the things he says, he's a funny dude. I like him a lot.
Yeah.
And he's a phenomenal football player. Now, that's number 1. Number 2, no more Big Ben. That O-line is terrible. But yes, their defense is stellar. But you can't just say, well, Najee Harris go carry us to victory because he very well can, but he's probably not going to last all season. He's going to have a short career, and that's the last thing I want. So I think
I'm going to have to disagree with you on that one.
I don't know. I think they scale him back. 307 attempts. I don't think.
No. They're gonna scale back on that. On the
I think he scales back to like 230 to 250.
I see 250.
Yeah, the 1,200 rushing yards. I'll put him at 1,000 flat, maybe 1,100. The 10 total touchdowns, drop him to 8. 74 catches, 467. I think he stays around the same catches. Maybe goes up in receiving yards to at least 500. But yeah, I still think he dips in rushing yards and touchdowns, which is why he's going to go down 5 spots for me. Nothing crazy. I mean, he's still an RB1 in my eyes. Yeah. It's hard with that team right now.
Interesting take. A very interesting take.
And number 7, you are a mind reader indeed. Don't know how you got this and why your gut feeling told you this, but it is my boy, DeAndre Swift at number 7.
Oh, that's awesome.
The same thing you said, bro. I hope and I wish and I pray that he ends up top 5. This is, after Saquon, probably my favorite running back in the whole league. You already know. Everybody should know by now. Lions, my second favorite team. So DeAndre Swift, also a soft spot in my heart. This guy, RB15 last year, and it's because of injuries. Now, he's only been in the league 2 years, but both years he's been hurt. Both years he's only played 13 games. Year number 1, 114 attempts, 521 rushing yards, nothing crazy. 46 catches, 357 receiving yards, 10 total touchdowns. last year when it was kind of like they officially said
Everything
okay,
went up.
yeah,
Everything went
because they're
up.
like, you know what, fine, this is your team. You could lead the running because I remember year one he had like
Yeah.
Adrian Peterson and
Yeah.
somebody else. So now they're like, no, no,
Yeah,
no.
it was almost like okay, you did good this first season. We're gonna give you a little bit more work to see if you can handle it.
And he did until his AC injury on his shoulder. But
Yep.
he was going into a lot of people were saying it, and it's true. He was becoming a fantasy star because through 13 games, if the season ended there, obviously he would had 151 attempts, 617 rushing yards, 4.1 yards per carry, 62 catches, 452 receiving yards, 7 total touchdowns, an average of 16.1 points per game, meaning he was an RB8 in fantasy through 13 weeks. If he finished the season, this kid could have broken into top 5, man. Okay.
Yeah,
this is a phenomenal talent. He just runs the risk of injury. It's simple as that. But again, every running back, every football player does, period, but especially the running back position. Now, a lot of people complain about Detroit's turf, so maybe that could hurt him. I know the first year was something with the lower body. I don't remember exactly what, so it could have been the turf. Last year was the AC, so it's not like he hurt himself on his ankle, his knee on a cut. No, it was just like something he landed awkwardly. Toe. Yeah. So, but unfortunately, he got hurt. So, obviously 2 years in a row, 13 games only. It's like that's a little bit of a red flag.
Yeah.
But this is an upgraded team, like you said, much better O-line. Arguably, honestly, one of the best O-lines in football. Really good defense, a lot of weapons on receiving, on the receiving side of the ball. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameson Williams, who probably won't be as big this year, but eventually he will. DJ Chark, who I still think was a phenomenal pickup in free agency. TJ Hawkinson.
That's a very that's a good pickup that not many people are.
Not many people are talking about, bro. DJ Chark is going to be a great signing. Watch, and then not to mention, honestly, their coach. Dan Campbell, phenomenal coach in my opinion. The energy he brings, the way he talks to this team. I'm watching. I don't know if you've seen it on HBO Max. Hard Knocks this year's with the Lions. I already saw episode 1. You just fall in love with Dan Campbell. You just like, yeah, I love this guy, and you could just feel like the change of energy in the Lions locker room. And I think it's gonna be big for DeAndre Swift. Okay, DeAndre Swift behind that O-line with all those weapons. The focus won't be on just stop DeAndre Swift. They're gonna be like, damn, now we gotta talk about Amon-Ra St. Brown. We got to talk about Hawkinson. We got to talk about DJ Chark. Like, DeAndre Swift will find those holes. So I definitely see him going to at least RB7. He is a phenomenal player. And I just hope he stays healthy because if he does, he'll get into top 5.
I love that we both agree on this. I love it.
Yeah, DeAndre Swift, man. That's my guy. Now, to finish off, RB6. RB4 from last year, Joe Mixon. Now, Joe Mixon is a phenomenal running back. He is in a phenomenal team, a team that also upgraded their O-line to also probably one of the best in football now.
And yeah, you see him dipping.
I see him dipping, but it's only 2 spots. The reason being is I think they gave him too much of a load last year. I mean, 292 attempts, 1,205 yards, 42 catches, which is the best part. 314 reception yards. That's great because he's not really a receiving back. But with Joe Burrow, anybody could be a great receiver. The biggest thing to me is 16 total touchdowns. That's going to dip. He's not going to maintain that. Now with Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and Tyler Boyd. That's not going to happen. Okay. I don't think he's going to dip to 8 or 9 like he did in 2019 and 2018. But I think he dips to 12 touchdowns. So 4 touchdowns alone is already a big step. 292 attempts. I think that drops to at least 250. 1,200 rushing yards. I'll push him at 1,100. The receiving yards, I think they do go up a little bit. I think he goes up to 50 receptions with 350, maybe 400 receiving yards. So that kind of balances it out, which is why the dip won't be so big. But I do think his stats take a little bit of a hit, but nothing crazy. I'm not dipping him from 4 to
I like 12. Your take. Your take.
Yeah, I'm just dipping him from 4 to 6. I wouldn't be shocked if he's in the top 5 again. Like I said, my number 5, which you'll find out soon, I fought him off a little bit. It was very hard to choose who's 5 and who's 6. Number 5 is risky for me, but I took the upside in this one a little bit, and I just had to put Joe Mixon at 6. There's just the Bengals are so well-rounded and so many weapons. I don't think they need to give Joe Mixon 300 rushing attempts, almost 300 rushing attempts. I think they could scale that back a little bit. So the yards will go down, the touchdowns will go down, but I do think his receiving yards and receptions will go up. So I'll tell you this: he's somebody that in the end of the first round, early second round, I'm looking at and I'm like, do I want to do this? So, still somebody that's up there for me, but just outside.
Interesting.
But hey,
interesting.
Here we go. Now here's where it gets big for us. the top 5. Let's get into it.
Let's do it.
Let's not waste any time. Our top 5.
So far, we've had one of the same between our first bracket. We had one of the same in our second bracket. Hopefully, we get one of the same in this third bracket.
I want to do something a little different, if it's okay with you, since this is since
Okay.
this is the most important part of fantasy. I want us to go
Okay.
5-3, and then talk about our top 2 and see if we got the same
Okay.
top 2.
Okay, I like it.
All
I
right,
like
so
it.
let's go. So give us 5, 4, and 3 for you. Go.
All right, cool. So at number 5, you already said his name. Okay, you have him regressing. I agree with you. I do have him regressing.
Okay. Yeah.
I have him regressing. However, not as much as you.
Okay.
Okay. At number 5, I have Najee Harris.
Okay.
All right. Like you said, running back 3 last season. Fantastic. His rookie year played amazing, right? He played the full season, 307 attempts, which is insane. Okay. I do see him regressing with those attempts.
Yeah.
However, that regression will be made up in receptions. Okay. Honestly, to be honest, again, I'm saying that Kenny Pickett is going to be the starter,
Yeah.
within that first month. But if he's not, I see Mitch Trubisky staying the starter because obviously this guy at number 2, Rudolph, he shouldn't even be there. All right. So it's between Trubisky and it's between Kenny Pickett. All right.
Okay.
So I feel like Trubisky being there helps out Najee Harris. Okay. That's just what I think.
I actually
Okay?
agree with that. Yeah.
I feel like the 74 receptions that he had and the 467 receiving yards that he had with it, I feel like they're gonna build off of that and be like, you know what? We're gonna have to regress on his touches for rushing attempts, but I think we're gonna have to throw to him a little bit more just because he was doing so great. So I feel like we're gonna really see him become a really good pass catcher. Okay.
Yeah.
Honestly, I see him going minimum 85 receptions. Minimum.
Okay. That's not terrible. Yeah.
All right. So I see that again. The new quarterback, whoever it is not Big Ben. It's not Big Ben, which means your new quarterback, whoever it is, whichever one of those 3, he's going to be more mobile, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
Not only
Okay.
that, if I could just interfere one time, and it's something I forgot to say on mine, they're most likely going to be losing a lot of games. Their defense will keep them in the game, but they'll be
Yes.
losing a lot of games.
Yes.
Maybe by 1 possession, 2 possessions. So maybe at the end of the game, they're not going to want to run it. They're going to be like, we're going to throw the ball. They have great
Exactly.
receivers and they have a big body tight end, but they also have Najee Harris, who, if the O-line can't hold up for 3 seconds like the quarterback needs, he can just dump it off to Najee, and Najee's going to pick him first. So
that's exactly what I think is going to happen. That's exactly why I have him regressing in touches and picking up receptions. You freaking said exactly what I was just thinking. All right. So his schedule is very average, which for him is easy.
Should be easy,
not really much of a challenge. I mean, yeah, challenging, but for him, yeah, that O-line's not the best, but I feel like again, he's just gonna improve so much with his receptions. I see him going over 600 receiving yards. That's just me. His touchdowns, I see him regressing a bit. Why? Just because they might not be in the red zone as much.
Exactly. Yeah.
That defense, yeah, they're gonna keep him in games, but I do see him, if his touchdowns are gonna come, they might come from outside the red zone. That's just what I mean. He might catch the ball. He might. It's almost like that first season that Kareem Hunt was in Kansas City. This man would catch the ball from the 50, from the 40, from the 30, and run it in as a touchdown.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I see that with Najee. I see that happening. So again, he was running back 3 last season. I do see him regressing a little bit. Not much, just only 2 spots. So that's why I have him at number 5. And number 4, you might be surprised. You might be surprised with this. And I'm a big believer in this guy. I love this guy. He was running back 16 last season. All right. He played
exactly who
13 games.
Mm-hmm.
He played 13 games last season. And they have amazing wide receivers. Okay. But I feel like there's always, he's always played great, but he always somehow gets injured. But it's not like major injuries. It's always like minor things, like either a shoulder or a knee or a foot, something just to keep him out a couple of games. All right. But from running back 16, to have him up to number 4, I see Dalvin Cook doing that. I see him doing that.
Yep.
I see the same numbers, however, with double-digit touchdowns. He only had 6 touchdowns last season. Only 6. Okay. So let me go back. He had 249 attempts in 13 games. 249 attempts. That's a lot. He had 1,100 59 rushing yards. He had 34 receptions, 223 receiving yards, and 6 touchdowns. Okay. I see those numbers being the same. I see him reaching 1,200 yards. I do see that. I do think he's going to have a healthy season. I do see Madison taking a couple of touches away, but not much. I really do think
just
Cook
enough to
stays
keep him healthy. Yeah.
Yeah, I do think he's going to stay healthy this season. And especially with Justin Jefferson there, they're going to be throwing him the ball more red zones, more end zone touches for Dalvin, in my opinion, which is why I see him getting more double-digit touchdowns. He has an easy schedule. Okay, 4 out of 5 stars. And another reason why I think he's going to get double-digit touchdowns is because in 2019, 14 touchdowns. In 2020, 13 touchdowns. And yet last season, he only had 6.
That's true.
All right. So to me, I feel like if the Vikings want to win, you got to give the ball to Cook in the red zone. You have to. It's always succeeded. He has had double digits, pretty much a touchdown per game in 19 and 20. Last season, it was the only difference, right? The black sheep of his career so far. I do see him going back to that. I really, really do. I see that happening, and I see them controlling the clock, controlling the time with Dalvin Cook. Why? I do think he's going to stay healthy. I really do. Again, like we said before, every running back has that scare, that little risky factor of getting injury. Yeah. But I believe in him. I do think he improves by 12 spots, and that's why I have him at number 4. And number 3, I have a guy who you moved down a little bit. Okay. I moved up a little bit. Okay. I agree with you. You say that his numbers dip a little bit. I think his numbers improve a little bit. Okay. So he was running back for last season.
Okay. All right.
Joe Mixon at number 3.
Listen, I'm not mad at that. I like him, so I'm not mad at that.
Joe Mixon at number 3. Like you said, 16 games, 292 attempts. That's bonkers, right? 1,205 rushing yards, 42 receptions, 314 receiving yards, and 16 touchdowns. I honestly see those same numbers besides the touchdowns. I see a little bit less touchdowns. However, I do see him getting double digits. I see him getting between 12 and 14. Okay. But the reason I have him improving is because I see both his rushing, but especially his receiving yards going up. I see him going over 500 receiving yards. Easy. I'm talking about minimum 500. Minimum 500. Because rushing yards and those attempts, it's a lot. It's a lot. I don't know if he could do it another season, but it is a lot.
Yeah.
However, same thing with Najee. I see those attempts dipping down, but switching over to receptions and receiving yards. I really do see that, and I feel like he's going to succeed so much in that field, in with those opportunities, that I have to move him up to number 3. And his schedule is average, which to him, he's like, "Hey, man, give it to me. That's fine.
Yeah,
that's fine."
Not only him, the whole offense. So
yeah, seriously. So that's why I have him at number 3.
Okay. Listen, like you said, we had some similarities. Obviously, we had 1 correct last week. This week we've had, I believe, 2 now.
2 so far. Yes.
I'm gonna go ahead and go on a limb here, and I'm gonna say we're gonna have an extra 3 correct.
Whoa.
You'll see where I'm getting at. We'll start with number 5, though. At number 5, I have somebody that, again, I was fighting with Joe Mixon.
Right.
I still think maybe I should have put Joe Mixon at 5, but again, I went with the upside here. And it's massively risky, just like Saquon, but you can't deny the upside. At number 5, I have last year's RB38, none other than Christian McCaffrey.
Whoa.
I know. Listen.
Whoa.
Like you said,
him at number 5.
I know. It might be foolish of me. It really might be. Like, again, every time I rank them, I'm like, this is too high. But then I lowered him
last week.
Yeah. And I would lower him. I'd be like, this is too low. It's hard to gauge CMC because of the same thing with Saquon for me.
Oh my God. You're
talent,
crazy.
Easily top 5. Probably top 3 talent. Team, quarterback, injury history, dips him. The thing is, I like to be positive. I like to be an optimist. If
you gotta be a realist,
if he could stay healthy, this guy easily top 5. Okay. It's crazy to me, like you said, he's only played 10 games in 2 years. Like, what?
Yep.
That's wild. But the one thing that makes me put him at 5 is when he came back at the end of last year, I was nervous. I was like, is he rusty? Is he going to be bad? What's going to happen? He was on fire. He went wild those 2 games he played. Now he has an off season. He has Baker at quarterback, most likely, although apparently the coach is waiting till week 1 to announce the starter between him and Sam Darnold.
It's
Whatever.
It's Baker.
It should be Baker. I'll say that, but
Baker.
Whatever. If CMC
especially first week against Cleveland, come on.
Imagine, hey, Sam Darnold, get in there.
Hell no.
If CMC can stay healthy, number 5 could be too low. If he plays a full season, number 5 will probably be too low. Now, I don't think they go crazy. 2019, he had 287 attempts, 1387 in terms of rushing yards, 116 receptions, 1,005 receiving yards, 19 total touchdowns. Do I think he gets there? No, absolutely not. I think a realistic goal for him is a mixture of 2018 and 2017. Okay. 2017, he had 117 attempts. 2018, he had 219. I think he goes somewhere in the middle. I think he goes maybe like 150, 160 attempts. The rushing yards, I'd give him 700 rushing yards. The receptions, I'd put him at 80. Receiving yards, I put him at 860. Touchdowns, I put him at 8. Okay. And that to me is like a floor if he's healthy. If he's fully healthy the whole season, he could easily go again 1,000. Maybe 1,000, 2,000. I don't know. But it's also the big if. That's why I keep repeating it. It's if he stays healthy, CMC.
I think that's way too high. Way too high, dude.
I know. But I'll tell you this. I think I am too high on him. But then I see the experts on ESPN and Yahoo and whatever, and he's like the consensus number 2, and I'm like,
no way.
I'm like, what?
No way. If I had him at number 20, I had him at number 20.
I think that's too low. Don't get me wrong. I think we're at the same page with Saquon and him. I think, like you said, Saquon, you had him at 24. I had him at 9, somewhere in the middle.
I feel like we're definitely better with the. I'm more okay with the CMC one. You having him at number 5 than having Saquon at number 9. I feel like Saquon, there's no way. CMC, because it's like if he's healthy, 100% top 5.
So what happens?
If he's not healthy, I see him being 20.
So what happens? What happens if Saquon's healthy?
It ain't gonna happen, bro. I'm sorry.
But that's what I'm saying. So since you're saying hypothetically, if CMC is healthy, hypothetically, if Saquon is fully healthy, what? He's not gonna be top 10?
Yeah.
Exactly. Which is what I'm saying. To me, these are like if they're healthy. If they're healthy, I think Saquon's top 10 easily.
I think you're being way too optimistic, though.
Again,
I feel like it's crazy. I like it because we're both got different point of views. I'm being like not predicting the future, but I feel like this is what's gonna happen. I think like you're going more realistic.
I think you're going based off like logically and more than fair enough.
Pessimistic, I don't know.
Not pessimistic. I think what you're doing is it is probably realistic, but I think what you're doing is you're going off what's happened. And it's true. Like these last 2 years they're there for a reason. These 2 players were at one point 1 and 2, running backs 1, running backs 2, but they've been hurt for 2 years in a row. They haven't completed half actually Saquon did more than half a season, but you know what I mean?
Like, hasn't been the same. Hasn't been the same.
So it makes sense for me to like, that's what I'm saying. Your argument, I could validate that. I could agree with that. But then my argument comes from Saquon looks like old Saquon. Our O-line got better. It's not like, again, we're not the best O-line in football or close to it, but we got better. And we're trying to create holes for Saquon. We're going to make him a bigger pass catcher. So, the arguments are on both sides. And again, these guys could just say, F you to both of us and be like top 15, like right in the middle,
Yeah.
Or they
I'm okay with that.
Or they could end up again, RB1, RB2. Like we don't know what's going to happen. Yeah.
That'll be insane.
That would be wild, which is the beauty of fantasy, bro. But listen, again, CMC, I'm not gonna lie to you. I do think I'm not comfortable with him at 5, but we got to be honest again. Like with me, like the potential that he has is it's too crazy to just.
Yeah, no, that's true.
But
that's true.
I want to move on from him because again, I think it might be too high, but we'll see what happens. Now, to go for our third correct one at number 4, I have last year's RB16.
Oh,
Dalvin the Chef Cook.
I like it.
I agree. It sucks that he hasn't had a full season. Because of injuries. Do I think he gets a full season this year? I hope for it. I don't guarantee it, but I think he plays, if not the same as last year, which was 13. He could push to like 14, 15 games, which should be enough to propel him, right? Because like you said, the rushing yards are there. I mean, you already talked about the yards. Just to recap, last year 1159, the year before 1557. Wild.
Yep.
But the receptions, they're consistent. Okay, 34 receptions last year, 44 the year before. 361 receiving yards 2020, 224 last year. So obviously a dip. I think he could increase a little bit more because, yes, Justin Jefferson is the alpha receiver. Adam Thielen, to me, is going to become a red zone target, not too much of the yardage. Dalvin Cook is going to help you get there as well. Justin Jefferson's doubled. Give it to Dalvin Cook. Let him build it up. Like you said, the biggest thing, though, the 6 touchdowns. Bro, in 2019, he had 13 total touchdowns. 2020, he had 17 total touchdowns. He's going to go up from 6. I see him as well in double digits. I see him at least.
Easy.
I see him at least at 12. If you want to be safe, 10. But I easily see him at 12 as well. So not too much to go in depth with that. I just think, especially if, just like CMC and Saquon, if he manages to play a whole season, he could sneak into the top 3. So
yeah.
You know, a talented running back, a great
It was
team.
really between me, Cook, and Mixon. I was constantly changing them. I really was.
Yeah, Cook is one of those that, you know, has so much potential. It's just he's one of those that never played a full season. So it's definitely riskier.
Imagine if he did. This could be the season.
If he did, bro.
This could be the season.
But at number 3, I have the king himself, Derrick Henry. God. Listen, you and I both said it.
You got.
I agree with you because we said it last year.
King Henry and CMC in your top 5.
Yes, sir. I'll tell you why. I obviously agree because, again, last year we were saying the same thing. Derrick Henry's built different. Okay, he's a machine. Like he should not
tearing over here.
He should not be running as fast as he runs. He should not be cutting how he does. Like he shouldn't be a running back. He's a linebacker. But that doesn't mean he's Superman. That doesn't mean he's indestructible. Like we knew the day was coming, and we called it. We said if not last year, we said this year. And
bro, I really wish we had this podcast last year. Because
we had like a screenshot because we said it in person. If we had at least texted it, I post a screenshot right now.
Oh my God.
But yeah, we did say that. We said, you know, obviously if we were talking last year, we said, hey, I think CMC, I think Derrick Henry breaks down either this year or next year. Nobody, no matter how differently you're built, can handle all those touches. Like I'm looking at his touches, right? From 2016 when he joined the league, attempts only, it goes up 110, 176. 215, 303 in 2019 in 15 games, 378 in 16 games for 2020. You already said this, but I'm gonna just repeat it. In 8 games last year, 219. Half of the games played from 2021 to 2020, right? Played 8 games 21, 16 in 2020. In 2020, he ended with 378. In 2021, he was at 219. So if we go just on average, he was going to end with 438 attempts. Probably wouldn't go there. But if he was at 378 in 2020, he would have hit 400 attempts. No person can handle that. In 3 years, this man would have handled 1,000 rushing attempts. You can't handle that. I'm sorry. That's not sustainable.
That's crazy.
Unfortunately, his body broke down last year. He couldn't handle it. But he's back this year. We all know, like you said, he's the focal point. He's the one option. He's the 2 option. He's the 3 option. Yes, okay, they lost AJ Brown.
He's the only option.
Yeah, you know, they lost AJ Brown and, you know, they got Robert Woods, who's a good option, but like, he's not a savior. He's not a wide receiver 1 alpha, like, you know, dominating the catches. No. But they have Robert Woods. They have that rookie that they drafted, Traylon Burks, I think his name is, Austin Hooper. You know, they have okay weapons that Ryan Tannehill could throw a little bit more to now. But we still know Derrick Henry's the first down option, the second down option, the third down option. In the red zone, it's Derrick Henry time. I think if they manage him well, I think if they go, okay, you know, you don't need 400 touches. Okay. If they put him at like 270, I'll say 300 because I know that's what they want. He could still hit 1,000 plus, bro. With 303 in 2019, he was at 1,500 rushing yards.
That's insane.
Okay.
That's insane.
Like this guy averages no less than 4.3 yards per carry. That's wild. That's a
Yeah, that's
great
crazy.
running back. That O line is built for him. You know, the biggest downfall to him is the receptions. Okay, the most amount of receptions he's had in 1 year is 2020 with 19 catches.
Bro, my man doesn't need it. He does
Yeah,
not
he doesn't
need
need it, but I think this is the year they flip that around. I think this is the year where they push up those receptions and say, hey, maybe you don't have to
Really?
run through the tackles as much. I think they dip those rushing attempts. Not like I'm not saying that they're gonna be like, yo, you're only gonna run 150 times. Like I said, they're probably gonna hit 300, but those receptions go from 19 again, which is his max. I want to say at least 35 touches as a receiver.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. I think they know they have to find a different way to get in.
I mean, yeah. I mean, thinking of it, it does make sense. Who else are
Yeah.
you going to throw to besides
Exactly.
Robert Woods?
Robert
You gotta-
Woods.
If you can make your running back a pass catcher, it's a game changer.
Exactly. And with Derrick Henry, everybody knows he's
Yeah,
gonna
you're
want to. They're gonna want to run. They do a little play action. He sneaks out of the backfield. Good luck, because you ain't stopping that man in the open field. If he
Yeah,
gets in the open field, you are not stopping
Oh,
him.
Truck City, baby.
Truck City. Now, touchdowns. Again, 2019, 18 total touchdowns. 2020, 17. Last year, 10 in 8 games, 10 touchdowns.
Yeah,
I think he goes back up to 15. Like, this is a guy that, you know, yeah, he's built different. His body can't sustain it as much anymore. But
if he's healthy, I can see it happening.
I think he plays, I want to say 14 games. I'm going to say 14 games. I'm going to keep it light. I don't think he goes a full season. I don't think he goes 8 games either.
I mean, it's close. I said between 10 and 12.
Yeah. So I will go with what you originally say. I go 12 to 15. I think so. I think 12 to 15 is like
That's fair.
the ranking for him. But, you know, Derrick Henry is a scary man. And I think RB3 is fair for him if he's healthy, just like CMC and Saquon.
Right. Honestly, I like it because I can see it happening. If he's healthy, I can see it happening. So I'm not mad at it. I am mad at the CMC. I am mad at the Saquon. But this, I still think you're crazy. But
Fair enough.
out of all three, I think that's the most realistic one.
Okay, that's fair. But
I
now
can see that happen.
we have 3 correct ones, and like I said, I want to say we're gonna finish five total correct ones. I think our top 2 is the same. I think, and I hope they're in the same order. I'm gonna let you say yours first, and then I'll just say if it's yes or no.
All right. Number 2, Eckler.
Same here.
Okay.
Yeah, Austin Eckler,
Okay.
number 2, RB2 last year, RB2 this year.
Exactly. I agree with you. So you know what? Let's just talk about this guy at the same time,
Yeah.
honestly, because it makes complete sense. Like we said, running back 2 last season. We have him as running back 2 this season.
Yep.
The man has played 16 games. Well, I'm sorry. Last year, he played 16 games. Okay. He had 206 attempts, which to me, for him, is a little low. 911 rushing yards. He had 70 receptions, which I absolutely love about that they're doing that with him. 647 receiving yards and 20 touchdowns.
That to me is the
just
biggest
last
thing.
season.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's insane to me. And now you're looking at the team that he's in that has improved. That's like it's insane. It's insane. It really is. It's crazy.
Let me tell you something though. So you know how you say you love that it's 70 receptions, 647 receiving yards. Can you believe that's not the highest amount he's ever had in his career?
Bro,
In 2019, he had 92 catches for 993 receiving yards while having 132 rushing attempts, 557 rushing yards, 11 total touchdowns. That's
bro, that just tells you they literally started him off as a pass catcher, and then they were like, you know what, we're gonna transition you into a bell cow, and he still succeeded there. So he could do both. We know he could do both.
And the thing with Austin Eckler that I love, because I've heard podcasts with him and like he talks about it, he takes so much good care of his body. Like he knows, he says it. He's like, I know what my body can and can't handle. Like when I know I'm starting to get tired, I'll ask the coach, yo, time for me to take off. Like, I don't care what I'm called. I know that my team needs me later on. So I don't need to push myself more than I should and then risk an injury, which is why he barely gets hurt. Okay.
Yep.
If we go off the stats from his rookie year, right? 2017. I'm just gonna go off what he averaged for fantasy.
Okay.
He averaged 7.6 fantasy points per game in 2017. RB number 50. Not a big deal. 2018.
Why though? Who was there? Who was the
Melvin.
number 1?
Yeah, Melvin. In 2018, he took a little bit of a bigger step. He had 106 attempts. Sorry, I forgot to mention this. In 2019, he only had 47 attempts for 260 yards. In 2018, he took a little bit more of a receiving running back role. 106 attempts, 554 yards, 11.6 fantasy points per game. Number 28, still, nothing crazy, but like, okay, maybe a flex play. 2019, the year I just mentioned, 19.3 points per game, RB number 6.
That's crazy.
2020, he only played 10 games. That's the one year that he was a little off, but because of COVID and all that, he only had 16.5 points per game as RB number 9. And then last year, he averaged 21.5 points per game, RB number 2. Ridiculous guy. He is a hybrid back. Like, he could catch, he could run. His forte is obviously catching the ball. He's a good runner, but his strength is obviously catching the ball. But he's such a good player. He's such a
listen. I'm not gonna lie. I was contemplating putting him number one running back. Okay. I kid you not, bro. I see him doing that. I really do. The only reason I don't have him number 1 is because obviously this man. Yeah. But if he does end up number 1, I wouldn't be surprised, bro. His defense just got so much better. This man is gonna be on the field more. He's gonna have more opportunities. I do see one regression. I do see it. One regression. Me too, and that's the touchdowns. I see that happening.
I'll tell you this much. If he somehow, some way manages to keep or even go up from 20 touchdowns, he's 100% RB1. That's
100%. 100%. I see his receptions going up. Not to the 9, over 90, like you said.
I would say in the middle, personally. What do you think?
I go between 80 and 90.
Yeah,
I go between 80 and 90.
Yeah, I would agree.
That's what I see. And the toughness, his schedule, it is a little bit tough, but for him is really, I mean, come on. I feel like he's schedule proof. It doesn't matter. It is 2 stars out of 5, but I feel like it really doesn't matter. I feel like he's gonna have more opportunities. He's gonna be on the field more, and I see him possibly going number 1.
I also think he's not your traditional,
your average
traditional. No, I would say he's not your traditional running back in the sense that he's not somebody that needs to run the ball to be good. He's somebody that, tough schedule. You can't run between that D line. We'll give you screens, run a route. We got you. Like,
he adapts.
Yeah. Bro, he's a receiver in a running back's body. Like,
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
pretty much. Look, and I don't have him on number 2 just because, people see me in the street and call me, yo, you look like Eckler. Let me get your autograph. No. That's not why I have him number 2, bro. He legit deserves this spot. And again, he could be number 1. He really can.
Wouldn't be mad. You already know he's a keeper in one of my leagues, baby.
Bro, I'm not mad at you. This guy could take you to the championship. I hope you know that.
He took me last year, but unfortunately we couldn't cross the line. But maybe this year we can.
He can do it again, bro. He can do it again. So you know what? Since we have the same number 2, obviously we're gonna have the same number 1.
The same.
That is
Mr. JT, Jonathan Taylor. Yes, sir.
That's it, bro.
Jonathan Taylor, bro. What a phenomenal player. Like, he showed it his rookie year, though.
Yeah.
Like, obviously he's only been here 2 years, but his rookie year, 15 games, 232 rushing attempts, 1,169 rushing yards, an average of 5 yards per carry, 36 catches, 299 receiving yards, 12 total touchdowns, 16.9 points per game in fantasy. Number 8 running back as a rookie. I don't know how more people didn't see it coming. I mean, don't get me wrong. I never saw number 1 coming. I'll be honest, which is why, the infamous story when we were looking for a running back last year, I told you, let's straight for Jonathan Taylor. And you're like, oh, I don't know. I think we get a bigger name. I said, trust me, but not because I was like, believe me, he's going to be RB1, but because I had a feeling he'd be top 5.
Yeah.
Pleasantly, he was number 1.
Look, honestly, the stats that you just said, his rookie season, right? Last season, he improved.
Yep.
He improved all those numbers. Okay. Yep. 17 games, 332 attempts, 1,811 rushing yards.
Wow.
40 receptions, 360 receiving yards, 20 touchdowns. Okay. I see possibly all those numbers going up. Maybe the only one number is the touchdowns, but honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets either that same number or even like 21, 22 touchdowns. Yeah. I could really see that. Why? Yeah, you change quarterbacks. We kind of disagree in quarterbacks. I do feel like he downgraded a bit in quarterbacks. You feel like he upgraded. I can see I understand why you feel that way. And Matt Ryan, he's not new to having stellar running backs. He's not new to that. When he was with the Falcons, he had, that run when he went to the Super Bowl. Amazing quarterbacks. I mean, I'm sorry, amazing running backs. But this time, like you said, it could be even better. Why? Because he has the undisputed number 1 guy, the guy that You could rely on him. You don't have to constantly be switching the backfield. You got your guy.
Yep.
You got your guy. So honestly, I see him going 2,000 rushing yards. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. I
Okay.
see him hitting those same touchdowns. I see him maybe if he regresses 18. I could see him doing a touchdown per game. I can see that happening. But that's his floor at touchdowns for me. I see his receptions maybe the same. However, his receiving yards I do see go up from 360 maybe to like 450. I do see that happening. And honestly, that was the difference for me for JT and Eckler, because I could also see Eckler going first, but I feel like Eckler's touchdowns are going to regress and JT's are going to stay consistent.
Yeah,
100%.
I agree. Look, I think the thing is, I personally think JT and Eckler could have a fight for number one. But also, again, if they're fully healthy, so can Henry, so can Cook, so can CMC, so could Saquon, so could Mixon's a little bit more of a long shot, but
Yeah.
It's the land of running backs.
I mean, hey, would you say if Zeke stays healthy, would he go for number one? Even though we had him so low?
The thing with me and Zeke is like,
let's say if he went back to like his rookie season.
oh yeah, I mean, duh. But that's not gonna happen.
Nah,
And
it's
number
not
two,
gonna
he has Tony Pollard. Like,
Yeah.
if he didn't have Tony Pollard and he was like fully healthy, I'd be like, yo, top 5. But to me, the biggest,
Yeah.
I would say the 5 to 6 names that could fight for number one if they all stay fully healthy and they all play all season, JT, in no particular order, JT, Eckler, Henry, CMC, Saquon, to me.
If they stay healthy, yes. Those
to
would
me-
be if they stay healthy.
To me, if healthy, that's the top 5. If they're all healthy and they play all 17 games, that's the top 5.
Yeah.
I don't know
agree.
the order, but that's the top 5.
I'll give you the 5 right now.
What, the
I'll-
top
I'll-
5
right now.
if they're healthy?
If they're healthy.
Okay, go ahead.
Saquon.
Sure.
Okay. Number 4, Eckler. Number 3, CMC. Number 2, JT. Number 1, King Henry.
Okay. Oh, you know what? I'm not mad at that. I would say in a perfect world, number 5, Eckler. Number 4, Saquon. Number 3, Henry.
Ooh.
Number 2, Jonathan Taylor. Number 1, CMC.
Oh.
I think CMC is just way too good of a running back, way too good of a receiver. If fully healthy, no injuries, full season, he's
Listen,
done it back
could
to
go
back
either way.
years. So
It could go either way. It
Yeah.
could go either way.
hey, next thing
But-
you know, next season ends and RB1 was like J.K. Dobbins. I don't know.
Imagine.
I don't know what could happen. So
Imagine.
that's again,
That'll
that's
be
the beauty of
insane.
fantasy
Or
football. It's-
CEH.
or CEH. Oh, stop that. I'm so glad he wasn't in your list.
Oh, hell no. Nope.
but
But
yeah.
it's crazy because I was so big on him. But anyway,
Last-
no.
no. I don't
Let's-
think just you. I think almost everybody was like, CH is the guy to draft.
Look, you know what? We shouldn't even be talking about him. He does not deserve to be in this
Bro,
conversation.
he was a
right now.
first round pick.
Bro,
in every
he does
fantasy
not
draft.
deserve to be in this episode's conversation.
Fair enough. Fair, fair enough.
Listen, I'm gonna go back to JT, all right? Because his schedule is easy for him. It's an average schedule, 3 out of 5 stars, which for him is a piece of cake.
Yeah.
You know, it just made it that much easier to
Dude,
have him as number 1.
3 out of 5 means 6 out of 5. So
There's really nothing else to say, man. I see him repeating that.
I think
That's
so
it.
too. I think so too.
Hey, man, we did it, bro. We ranked every single position. It took a while. A couple months, but we did it.
But we did it.
We
And
did
I think
it.
it's worth it. I think it's worth it.
Preseason
Listen.
has started. Football is we finally got some football, even though it's just preseason, but we got some football back. Man, fantasy's right around the corner.
Fantasy's around the corner. A lot of drafts are either starting
Yeah.
or will start soon. So exciting times. Listen, we draft next week. By the time this episode drops, we would have drafted our team a little bit too early for our liking, but we
Yeah.
have to work with the schedule of everybody, and that's the schedule we got. But yeah, that does it for the running back rankings. That does it for the overall fantasy football rankings. I mean, we could do, like a top 100, but it's gonna be repetitive. So there's no point. In terms of the EOE, I think today we're gonna skip on it. It's a big episode for us. RB top 15.
Yeah. No big stories. The only big story is, this man right here, man. He's chasing history. That's pretty much
It's
it.
kind of wild. So EOE will be back next week when we have more things to talk about.
Yeah.
We could go a little bit more in depth, but for now, I would say that's it, unless you got anything else to say.
No, man, I got nothing else. Hey, I'm just I'm excited we're done with these rankings. Now I get to focus a little bit more on my teams, on my drafts, and man, I'm looking forward for next week because next week, to be honest, we're gonna throw a little curveball at you guys. It might be football, might be soccer. We don't know.
We don't know. You guys don't know, and you guys will find out soon enough. But
Oh yeah.
that does it for our rankings. If you guys have any questions, need any type of advice, go ahead, drop them in the comment section. Hit us up on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, whatever you guys want. We are there. We will listen to you. We will try to give you as much advice as possible. And hopefully it'll help you win some championships.
Oh yeah.
And with that being said, we will see you guys next week. Thank you guys for listening. Good luck in your fantasy season, baby.
Peace out, guys.